Hello everybody, and welcome to another round of Championship fixtures and predictions. Hope we've all had a good week. We've got no midweek games to reflect on this week. The FA Cup took centre stage, as I'm sure you all know, but there were certainly some interesting Championship results last weekend that have made some slight changes to the table and the outcomes at the moment. So we have a full fixture list, as I say, this weekend, starting on Friday night and running into Saturday lunchtime and Saturday afternoon. So the first up, it's on Friday night, it's West Bromwich Albion versus Coventry City. And Coventry had for me anyway, a surprisingly easy home defeat to Preston last weekend. Perhaps they had thoughts on their FA Cup match, I don't know, but losing home to 3-0. Preston were in good form, to be fair, but it was certainly a bit of an eye-opener to start the weekend off last weekend. So they'll be wanting to put that right. West Bromwich Albion had a good solid draw against Hull, two sides, 5th and 6th, so probably a draw was the right outcome. So West Brom, home advantage, looking to maintain their good solid run of results. Coventry needing to get back on track, but I'm going to go for a home advantage to play a part here. I'm going to go West Bromwich Albion 2, Coventry City 1 in that one. Then we move on to two Saturday lunchtime matches. Two essentially local derbies, although Bristol City and Cardiff are in different countries, obviously, but they are separated by the River Severn, and hence it's called the Seven-Side Derby. And it's not for the faint-hearted, this one. I've been to a few of these Bristol City Cardiff matches, and it's certainly an interesting experience. It's 12:30, purely on police advice. Yes, it'll be a sellout crowd. I think Bristol City have had some couple of poor results, haven't they, recently, losing to Sheffield Wednesday and QPR. By poor results, I mean having had two good wins and then two poor results against sides that are already were in the bottom three at the time they played them. It's just the way their season's gone. They're entrenched in the middle, treading water on 44 points, as are Cardiff on 44 points. But they did have a good win last week against Stoke. So I think it'll be honours even in the seven-side derby. I'm going to go Bristol City 1, Cardiff City 1. Then we have the Yorkshire, two sides battling it out in Yorkshire again. Huddersfield Town versus Leeds United. And Leeds had a fantastic result against Leicester last week. I think it flattered them a little bit, 3-1 possibly. Goals late on won the day, but nonetheless, it keeps that they just don't believe they're not going to win a football match at the moment. 5 wins on the trot. They've won their last 5. It may be more. And yes, they're just going for gold at the moment. They're second place on goal difference, but a comfortable goal difference of 14. So that's almost worth an extra point. I don't think that'll be chipped away at for the rest of the season. So I think Leeds' momentum and their just desire and drive that they're not going to lose again or even drop a point at the moment will be too much for Huddersfield, even though Huddersfield are coming on the back of a good away win last week, and a vital away win really, because they made sure they were staying above the relegation line. So, but I think it'll be Huddersfield 0, Leeds United 3 in that one. I think Leeds just will be too much for them on the day. And we now have, next we have listed is Birmingham City into the Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock now. Birmingham City versus Southampton. Southampton now have lost 3 out of 4 in the league, and we're a bit unlucky on Wednesday night against Liverpool. Yes, 3-0 sounds a comfortable scoreline, but I watched a bit of that, and Southampton played extremely well and missed some gilt-edged chances, shall we say, which would have possibly swung the tie in a different way. Birmingham, unfortunately, Tony Mowbray, as we know, is away recovering at the moment from the club, having recently took up the managerial reins there. There'll be plenty of goals. It's Southampton playing, so that just means goals, doesn't it, generally speaking? So I'm going to go, there'll be 4 more, but they'll be split. And I'm going to go Birmingham City 2, Southampton 2 in that one. Next up we have Leicester City versus Queen's Park Rangers. Leicester now 2 red boxes against their name with L's in them. I'll be wanting to sort that out pretty quickly. They've still got a decent cushion, 6 points, but it was many more points than that not so long ago. I think Leeds were well behind the Leicester total, so they've really closed the gap down to 6 points. And probably Leicester can feel that wave of momentum getting ever nearer to them. However, Leicester are top for a reason. They've been excellent all season, scoring 70 goals, and they're almost certain to go up, I think. I'm not going to waver on that now. They'll want to go up as champions because they've been top all season just about. So they'll and playing Queen's Park Rangers just showing a little some mettle at the moment in their results. 3 wins in their last 5, only the 1 loss, and they've picked up some good results. They've got themselves out the bottom, hauled themselves out the bottom 3, really, at the expense of Stoke, who are now in peril. So they go to Leicester quite confident, but I think Leicester at home, wanting to put the record straight pretty quickly after a couple of blemishes on their record, a couple of losses. So I'm going to take them just to sneak it. Leicester City 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1 in that one. Next we have Millwall and Watford. Millwall stopped their really miserable run last week with an excellent, fantastic, and unpredicted 2-1 win down at Southampton. Held on very well. I think Southampton had some sort of statistical record of the number of entries into a box for any championship side, into the opposition box for any championship side this season, apparently. So Millwall held on, perhaps against the odds a little bit and against the run of play, but hey ho, so what? They did. It gave them a much needed 3 points just to stop that halt, stop that slide, and it keeps them 1 point above the dreaded drop line. They have Watford coming to their stadium this week, the New Den. So I think Millwall will want to back up that win at high-flying Southampton, but their recent home form has been pretty miserable. I don't think they've scored a goal in the last couple of games there, so they'll be looking to try and put that right, put another green W against their name. And Watford, I think, are one of these teams, as I think I said last week, that people would cherry pick to play at the moment if you wanted to get some points on the board. And Millwall will want to really back up that win last week. They've recently changed their manager again. The second team in this division, I think it's 2, it may even be 3, but certainly Millwall and Birmingham are now on their 3rd manager, and possibly so is Sunderland. I think they are. So it's incredible the number of managerial changes in this division. It just lends to that, doesn't it? It's just such a cutthroat league. So we are going for Millwall and Watford this match, and I'm going to take Millwall to edge it. I think they'll want to back up last week. They'll need to keep these points totting up because the other teams around them are showing a little bit of form. So Millwall 2, Watford 0. And then we go to Norwich. The next match on the list is Norwich and Sunderland. Sunderland, obviously they've got this caretaker manager now in charge for the rest of the season, come what may. Norwich, I think for me, had a little bit of a slip last week, really. They'd been really ticking nicely, and then they drew 1-1 with Blackburn, which they'll be disappointed about, I think, dropping 2 points there against a side that, they should probably be putting away at this stage of the season if they want to make it into that top 6. So Norwich are on 52, 3 behind Hull, 4 behind West Brom. I still think they might nick one of those 2 spots. I have no idea who they would edge out at the moment, but I still think Norwich have just got enough quality about them to put a consistent run together. And I think they'll see off Sunderland tomorrow afternoon. And I'm going to go Norwich City 3, Sunderland 1. Next up on the list we have Plymouth Argyle versus Ipswich. Plymouth picked up an excellent 2-0 win. Horrible long journey for them, up to Middlesbrough last week. Pulled off an excellent 2-0 win, which did surprise me. But given recent results by Plymouth, that is, 3 losses in their previous 4, then they came up with that result last week. Ipswich, Ipswich are sort of getting back on track now. They're feeling more comfortable about life. 4 wins on the trot, level on points with the Leeds. Though the 14 goal difference is holding them back a point at the moment. Leeds have that extra little comfort zone, knowing that the team have got to have more points than them and not just level up. So that's a nice little added bonus in their back pocket. However, I think Ipswich will come up trumps down in the West Country, or the southwest of England at the weekend, and I think it'll be Plymouth Argyle 1, Ipswich Town 2 to continue their recent good run. Next we have Preston North End versus Hull City. Preston on a really good run at the moment. They've put themselves back in the playoff picture. They're still 3 points behind Hull, 4 behind West Brom, as are Norwich. But they've had 4 wins in their last 5. And they are looking a very dangerous side to play at the moment. They had that comfortable win last Friday night away at Coventry, really impressive win last Friday night. So they'll be wanting to back that up with a home performance against Hull. And really Hull won't want that gap they won't want Preston to make any ground on them. Preston's goal difference is still slightly in negative. It's -5 as to Hull +7. So there's a 12-goal swing there. But the points difference would close to be matched if Preston win the match. So Hull will want to try and keep them at bay, keep that little gap going, keep their own form ticking over, which has been quite good. 3 wins out of 4 and a draw last time out against West Brom, and that was a good result. No disgrace in that at all. So I think there'll be goals around here. Both sides wanting to go for it, I think. So I'm going to go for Preston North End 2, Hull City 2. Next we have 2 more Yorkshire teams battling it out. Rotherham at home to Sheffield Wednesday. Now Sheffield Wednesday are really giving themselves a chance. They're still second bottom, but they're just 3 points behind Queen Park Rangers, who are above the line, and just 4 behind Millwall. They've had a couple of good wins, 3 wins out of the last 4, in fact, in recent weeks and recent games. So, and an excellent win against Bristol City last week, beating them home 2-1. And they'll be playing a Rotherham side now who, as I say, are just playing for their pride, which makes them a dangerous side. They'll just, as I say most weeks at the moment, they're probably not the side you'd really want to pick if you to roll over. Rotherham are just going to have some fun, and why not? And they'll certainly want to put one over their Yorkshire rivals, but we'll see what happens. 13 points between the 2 sides, and I think Sheffield Wednesday's need and desire to win the game will just take it on the day, I think, and that will put the cat amongst the pigeons above them if they can do that, make it really interesting. More interesting than it already is. So I'm going to take Sheffield Wednesday to carry on their good recent revival and make it 4 wins in 5, and it'll be Rotherham 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2. 2 more to go, and now we have Stoke City and Middlesbrough, and Stoke will be probably quite pleased, he says, that they're home to Middlesbrough, one of those sides in the middle on 44. There's 4 teams on 44 points that are just, they are that middle section that you'd want to go, oh, can I play one of those this week, please? So it's Stoke's turn to have that opportunity at home to Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough just lost their way completely in the last few weeks. I can't really put my finger on it. They did have a poor start to the season, if we recall, and then they really got going again and seemed to be heading for the playoffs, and now they've just gone and just sort of flattened out a little bit. and are just seeing this, running the season's clock down. So Stoke will see this as a real opportunity after being put into the bottom three last week by the sort of revival of QPR and Millwall's unexpected win. So Stoke are on 35, 4 losses in their last 5, so they really do need to stop that slump. And I just can't call this one really. I'm going to go that Stoke, although they would cherry pick Middlesbrough, I'm going to sneak it for Middlesbrough. I'm going to say Stoke City 0, Middlesbrough 1. Middlesbrough more the relaxed side maybe, and Stoke suddenly under all this extra pressure of being in the relegation spots may find it a tricky fixture to overcome. So I'm going to go Stoke City 0, Middlesbrough 1. And finally, we have Swansea City versus Blackburn Rovers. Swansea just need a couple more wins really, just to make sure, as do Blackburn, because they're both on the same number of points. Blackburn have got stuck in a draw routine at the moment, 3 draws on the trot. And Swansea had a very good win against Sunderland last week, a surprising one really away from home. I thought Sunderland would take that one, but Swansea just needed the points, because otherwise they would have been really in the relegation mix. Both these sides will see this as a chance to win the game and really put some breathing space between them and the bottom 3. However, I think it will even itself out and Blackburn will chalk up a 4th draw on the trot and Swansea will add another point to their total. And I'm going to go Swansea City 1, Blackburn Rovers 1. So I think that's it for another week, or it will be for another weekend. Again, an ever-changing league table will be interesting to have a look at on Sunday morning, or Saturday night, Sunday morning. And we'll be reviewing next week's games, I'm sure. So have a good footballing weekend, everybody, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.